Okay, so before I get into the presentation here, anybody make some offers this week? Andy? Andy always makes offers. Anybody get any offers accepted this week? Any offers accepted? All right, come up here. Come up here, Angela. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, we might need can somebody bring channel 2 up on the soundboard? Oh, sorry, I didn't see. Farrah's already on it. I didn't see you. Your hat's blending in.
I was even voicing my hand.
Hello. Hello. A little higher. A little higher. All right, so tell us about it.
I have a listing in Paris, a mobile home park, multiple listings in that park.
Okay.
I think some of you already know that. And I have a buyer for one of them that I ended up double ending. So a buyer that I showed 2 of them to, they weren't qualified, we got them qualified, and then they met me back again and wrote an offer on the next one that came up available. So I'm double ending that one. So that's
Nice.
why I said I got
Awesome.
an offer accepted. They accepted our offer.
Perfect. All right, well, double ending is always fun.
Let's go over the scorecard.
This-
7.
There's 7.
There. Carl's going to lead you.
There's 7 total. 5 are listed.
5 listed.
3 are in escrow. The 4th one would be in escrow, but we're having it's not our issue. The buyer has an issue with the lender with the title. So, yeah. 2 more are not listed yet.
Yeah, they're done. We just
We're
have
kinda
to.
holding, yeah.
We're being
We want the other
strategic about
ones
how we
to
list them.
go under contract.
So, good stuff. All right, good job. Good job. Anybody else? Make an offer. Get an offer accepted. Farrah, you got an offer accepted? All right, get up here. All the way to front. I want you to run. Come on. Just kidding.
Oh, this one.
I want to guess. It's a mobile home?
Yes.
All right, good job.
You're like my kids. They're like, we do a high-low, like sharing a highlight of our week, low, and stuff like that. And we know what your high is. And
Being here.
And it's pretty much I bought a mobile home. So a lot of you actually responded to it. But I did post in the Facebook group. I was looking at a mobile home out in Rancho Mirage, but I don't go out that way. And one of the club members, he's not here tonight, but he lives like right down the street. So we're teaming up on that, Fernando.
Cool.
And we made an offer. Oh, they were asking 50. You're gonna be proud of me. I did not offer them 50. I said I could do like 30, 35, and then we settled on 40.
Nice. There you go. You happy?
Yeah,
All right,
I
good.
mean, it's a new area.
How much is the rehab?
I don't know. Huh?
How much is the rehab going to be, you think?
40 to 50.
And then what do you think it's going to sell for?
We're like conservative 130, but we might be able to push to 160.
Cool.
Yeah.
So at least
Family
a
park.
40, 50 payday?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Give her a round of applause.
Okay.
Good job. Anybody else? Any offers out there? Anybody get close to something and you want to share maybe what went wrong or are you still kind of in it? Anybody? I will. Nobody else wants to go. All right. So Evan calls me and we got a lead cut that came in. We've been getting, so we're speaking of branding tonight. I built out our website back when we all worked together. I built out our website like years ago, and I built all these different individual websites for each city that was up in the mountains. And then Google changed all their algorithms, and SEO got really crazy. This was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. SEO got really crazy, and I just kind of gave up on it. Well, apparently Google changed their algorithms again, and now it's swung back, and whatever I did like 7 years ago is working. So we keep getting these like random leads of people that I'm like, how'd you find us? I'm like, oh, I just Googled it and you came up as like the first one. I was like, no kidding. Cool. All right. So anyways, went and looked at it. Caitlin and I went and looked at the house. The guy, he wanted to net a certain amount, and I was just like, there's no way like I'm going to get to this guy's number. And I kind of already went in expecting like I wasn't gonna be able to get to his number, and so I started talking, and I just showed him on the calculator real quick. What the ARV would be was like 280 times 70%. was like put it down to 196, I think, and then minus like a $30,000 rehab from there, put my max offer like a 166. And I'm expecting him to go like, no, that's all right, you know, like get out of here. And he goes, all right, well that might be doable. I'm like, he owed 80 on it, so that was only gonna net him 80. He wanted to net 150. So I was like, oh, dude, I'm nowhere near. Like, but okay. I had some other options for him, but I just stopped talking after that. And you know, so the next day I started getting bombarded. I got a message from. So he said he was going to call me back on Tuesday. This was on Sunday. I get a message from a wholesaler Monday afternoon, and it's this property, and it's all these pictures, and they want $245 for it. And I'm like, and he's telling me the ARV is $350. And I know for a fact this place is not going to sell for over $280. It's off a dirt road. You have to drive through like an apartment complex to get to it. There's no way it's getting $350. But this wholesaler's from like Seattle or something, and just looked at the comps and had no idea what the neighborhood looked like. And so anyways, I was like, you know, no, I'm familiar with the house. Thank you. The most I could do would be like 160. He's like, all right, thanks. And then another wholesaler friend of mine texts me, and he goes, hey, I got this house. And up in Arrowhead. I'm like, is it on this road? And he's like, yeah. I was like, and I'm expecting him to try and sell it to me. Like he's got it. I'm like, dude, I already saw it. Like, I'm not interested. Like, there's no way. He's like, no, I'm talking to, what do you mean? He's like, I'm talking to the mom directly. And I've been talking to the son. Okay, the son was who we met on Sunday. And I don't remember exactly what happened from there, but I sent him the listing, and he's like, dude, they don't have that under contract. Sorry, let me back up a second. So I had messaged the seller that I had met on Sunday, and I said, hey, sorry, we couldn't make it work. If they mess around with you or kind of push you around in escrow, give me a call. Okay, but I hope you get the land that he was trying to buy some land. And I said, hope you get the land. And he messaged me back. He's like, thanks, dude, I appreciate it. But he's like, what are you talking about? So then I start talking to others. Anyways, this wholesaler in Seattle, they forged the mom's name on the contract, and then was trying to go around and sell it to people. So if your red flags aren't going off in your brain, don't ever do that. Just in case I have to say that out loud. Okay, don't ever market a property that you do not have under contract. I was just assuming that they were like pre-marketing it. Didn't think they were going to get the guy who was just in it less than 24 hours ago, and just we're just trying to pre-sell it basically. I never thought that they actually had signed. They had signed, forged her name, opened escrow. I don't know what they were planning on doing after that. Like, cause that's not it. You still have to go in and sign a grant deed and like all that kind of stuff. So I really don't know what their plan was, but they were idiots. So just be aware. So, and I did follow up with the seller. I was supposed to hear from him yesterday. I didn't hear from him, so I still need to follow up one more time. But really, I wasn't even all that upset because this house wasn't anything exciting. I didn't even really want it. So, but I would have done it if it did. But it took a weird turn. So, anyways, just be especially these out-of-state wholesalers in general. Be careful on your ARV. If they're out of state, they're just looking at comps, especially up in the mountains. Everything looks the same. You could be a quarter mile away, and really you're up, a giant road, with no driveway or dirt driveway or stuff like that. So just be careful. Anyways, all right, moving on. So I say this every time, but if you're new, you are being recorded. We put all this stuff on YouTube. Okay, so if you're not supposed to be here, you're supposed to be somewhere else. You've been warned. If you don't agree that to be on camera, or you have a problem with being on camera, or possibly being on camera, you do believe I can't edit this later or blur your face or anything like that. Okay.
Some of those big sunglasses and hats.
We do have some sunglasses if you want. We do sell hats as well. Thank you, Andy. They're $30. So if you want some disguises, we sell them. I think we might have some costume mustaches too. But disclaimer, so I am not an expert. Okay, I'm not licensed in any way. I am just somebody that invests in real estate. Okay, anything you hear tonight is my opinion. Take it for what it is. Okay. And I'd like to introduce our sponsors real quick. We have a few here. Steve, Yesenia, can you guys stand up? And is Lee still here? Lee, also. Let's give these guys a round of applause, please. So all of our sponsors are members first. Okay, I get a lot of people all the time coming up to me and asking me to pay, or not asking me to pay, sorry, wanting to pay me to put their logos up. Okay, so we could use the money. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't let them do that. Okay, so everybody's members first. They've all been around for a while. They all come out to the meeting. That's why you're seeing their names up on the board. Okay, so all I ask is that you give them a shot first. So if you need lending, escrow companies, solar companies, security companies, anything up on that board, just give them a shot first. Okay, give them a chance to earn your business ahead of everybody else. Okay, they help support all of this. Okay, you can check them out on the website. Just go to iereic.org, or you can scan that thing, or just type it into Google. It should bring you in there pretty well, or pretty quick. Okay, and then who's bought their ticket to John Schaub already? All right. It's about half the room. Andy's bought like 5 or 10 that he's wheeling and dealing on. So if you don't know who John Schaub is, I won't spoil it for you. Just go home and put his name into Google. You'll be very impressed. Okay, he will be in. His SEO is probably really bad. I guarantee you John Schaub knows nothing about SEO, but he still pops up on the #1 search result for John Schaub. And real estate investing in general. So he wrote a book. It's been a national bestseller. I think he's on his 4th edition or something of the book. A lot of people that you probably know of or heard of as gurus probably learned from this guy at one point or another. There's guys that are now teaching, that have been teaching for 20, 30 years that learned from John originally. Okay, so he hasn't been out here in 5 years. He hasn't taught this specific class since that time also. So it's very special that he's coming out here. He's not he doesn't tour the country or anything like that. He usually does 1 class a year in Florida, and you can catch him in Vegas at Masters for a few hours. But to have him for two full days on a weekend is pretty special. So no guarantees he's going to come out again. We are about halfway through, a little more than halfway through on the ticket sales. So we're going to cut it off 75, 80 people. And we're already I think we're over 40 at the moment. So, and he's doing the tour through all the RIAs over the next month or so until the class. So if you want to jump in on a ticket, I'd highly recommend you get it sooner rather than later. Okay?
He's doing that here?
He's doing that right here. Yep, we're doing it here. So, all right. And, all right. So, yes, sir.
Aren't other clubs buying tickets too?
Yes, he is making the rounds to other clubs. So,
No, I meant, aren't they buying tickets for this event? Other clubs?
Yeah, so he's making the rounds to sell tickets to the other clubs and other groups.
To come here.
Okay. Yeah, to come here.
So that's what I'm saying is the tickets are gonna
Yes.
get bought up.
They are going to get bought up by other people. Right now, most of the tickets are, our club. But as it gets closer, people know about it more. Yeah, they usually, about probably a third of the tickets for Pete last year were sold through other groups.
Yeah, he's
So,
a mentor's mentor. You gotta
yeah,
put him on
exactly,
the bucket list.
exactly.
He gave a great pitch last night in North San Diego.
Yep, he was at North San Diego last night. Yep, awesome,
Well, Zoom.
awesome.
Zoom.
Yeah, he's zooming in. So he's not Pete. He doesn't come out for the whole week and make the rounds. But it's all right. So, all right, let's talk about branding. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Rich. I own this place, and I also own a bunch of different real estate related companies. Okay, and we're going to talk specifically about branding tonight. Okay, we're going to talk about branding and logo design and stuff like that. Okay, so every logo up there, I either had designed for me or I designed myself, or kind of worked the brand in general. So I'm going to go through some of these things. If you're wondering what those 4 blurred out ones are down there, those I'm going to be revealing at Tri Building next week. Okay, so if you come out to Tri Building, you can learn on what this place is going to evolve into, and I'll give you a little hint. There's going to be 4, possibly 5, new groups that are going to be hosted here. So if you want to learn about all those, come on out next week. Okay, but today we're going to focus on branding for We Buy Houses and stuff like that. Okay, so a little bit on my background real quick. I've been flipping and wholesaling since 2017. Somewhere upwards of 150 deals at this point, either as acquisitions, dispositions, the project manager on the flip itself, whatever, all over the place. Okay, I've been a housing provider since 2020. I bought my first rental that I held on to. a week before they shut down Disneyland in 2020. I was very, very nervous about making that purchase, being what was going on, and we had stuff under contract that we were wholesaling, and people were bailing on sales. So I came to this club. They asked me a bunch of questions, and I was nervous, and I just said, there's a 2 in front of the interest rate, and Andy and some other people were just like, dude, just buy it. So I bought it, and it ended up being a great decision. So if you are nervous about buying something or you need some guidance, the guidance is in the room, okay? Right now I have 11 doors. They're all long-term rentals. I did kind of dabble in short-term and mid-term for a little while, but I decided I was too busy and switched over to LTR. I purchased the club from the previous owners in 2021, and then we got this place in January of 2023, okay? And that's me and my girlfriend, Caitlin, back there. Woo! Raise your hand. Come on. We like to travel. And we have our little motorhome down there, which is getting worked on. Been to a couple different countries. That's actually me, my mom, and Evan. Evan's not here tonight, but my mom's right there. And that was our first deal at the Mission Inn, actually. We closed our first deal together, and we went out for dinner at the Mission Inn. That was pretty much about 7 years ago, almost to the day, because that would have been like June-ish. So, and then that picture's right there is of me hugging a cow. And that's because I really, 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 really love In-N-Out. I haven't told that joke in a while, so I figured it was due. Okay, so that's the background. Current projects-wise, I am working on 7 mobile homes with some club members in Paris that we're done with. They're all getting listed. I have 1 mobile home in Crestline that has been going just as long as the 7 mobile homes. And he actually started like 2 weeks after those mobile homes, but he's a good guy. He's just not as fast. He likes to paint one wall and put all of his paint stuff away and then go hang some drywall, and then he goes and paints another wall. And the guy must really like just cleaning paintbrushes. I don't know. But rentals-wise, I got 2 vacancies. I just filled 1. And for the first time ever, I had somebody sign a lease, do the whole thing, and then 2 days later decided to tell me never mind. So that was definitely, actually I had 2 firsts. So that was 1 first. The other first, they actually ended up saying yes and they signed the lease. But they did the whole application, the whole thing. Like, and I don't have a, if you guys saw my rental presentation from a couple months ago, I don't have an easy application process, okay? And it's not cheap either. It's like $75 a person. There was 2 of them. They paid like $150 in applications fees. And then I called them to tell them the good news that they'd been accepted. And they're like, yeah, we're going to think about it. I was like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, we haven't really talked if we like really want to do this or not. I was like, oh, why did you? Okay, whatever. But they ended up doing it. So as of right now, they're moving in. They better. So I'm gonna be pissed. But anyways, I also am working on a bunch of ADU projects. That house up there, we got sub 2 a few months ago, and we're in the process of doing all the plans and everything. We're actually going to turn that garage into 1 unit, and then this one right here, there's 2 big rooms that we're going to turn into a junior. So we're doing that. The plans are actually going in this week, so we'll know that soon. And then I'm also permitting. I have a few other rentals that have non-conforming ADUs that we're going to in the process of legalizing. So that should be interesting as well. So they're actually scanning a couple of them next week. So it's going to be a busy summer of dealing with building and planning. So, and then this place is an ongoing project constantly. For those of you that weren't around or don't remember what this place used to look like when we moved in, there's some pictures. Okay, so it looks hopefully a little bit better than it does in those pictures. That's Farrah and Caitlin. That's us staging, using a cabinet and using some folding tables to stage just how many things we could fit in here to see how many people we could get. Because surprisingly, this room got small very quickly. Okay, so speaking of Farrah and Caitlin, they all do a ton of work around here, along with all of our other volunteers. So please give them a round of applause.
You know, Rich, this place was huge when we backed that truck in here the first time.
I know.
Big empty warehouse.
Yeah. And that up there is where we decided we were going to, the first about month, we did exchangers in that room back there, which seemed massive compared to the office we had before this, which was the size of the studio, the office that's right there. We used to fit 20 people in there for exchangers, sometimes more. And if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to wait till the end of the meeting. And so we moved it into that room. It was like 4 times as big. And we're like, yeah, we're good. We did it for about a month. And then I'm like, I want to move it into here. And Andy or like Goodwin are like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we did it anyways. And yeah, now we got a kitchen. So anyways, I do have a podcast too. So who's watched or been on my podcast? Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I have like a consultant that's been doing the clips and everything, and he told me to tell you guys that if you could, and I'd really appreciate if you could eventually, go on there and I guess leaving reviews on like Apple iTunes and Spotify and stuff like that. As long as the review's good. If it's not, come pull me aside. But if you could leave some reviews on there, the next time it pops up in your feed, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, it helps it grow, I guess. So now, quick show of hands. Who has a house buying brand already, or company that you've done some marketing for? Quick show of hands. I feel like there's more of you. Patrick, you don't have a company?
Yes, but I switched. I had something before, and I'm switching to a new one, and I'm actually doing a new.
So that's why you're here tonight. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, who's just getting started or wants to build a brand or house buying company? Okay. All right, good. So, real quick, we're going to go over like some branding basics. And again, this is a topic like every topic that we do here on these focus nights. This is a topic that we could go on and on and on and do 2 days, week-long courses on, okay? So I'm going to focus on a couple things tonight. One is a mission statement to try and guide you a little bit on what you're doing. 2 is your brand identity and the difference between like what your logo is and then like what your brand overall represents, okay? Your logo itself, and then we're going to look at some examples of good branding, poor branding, and better branding, okay? So, what is branding? Okay, the textbook definition of it is, I'll just read it to you. Branding is the process of creating a unique identity for a business that distinguishes it from competitors. Okay, so basically something to identify you with to your target market or your target customer, okay, whoever that may be. The purpose of your brand is to establish a differentiated presence, okay? So you want something that stands out. You don't want to look like everybody else, which is what we're going to talk about a lot, okay? And then like the key elements that we're going to talk about again tonight are just the brand name, the logo itself, the identity, and kind of your messaging around that. So if you look at this brand thing, there's a lot more things in there that go into a brand that we just don't have enough time to cover all of it tonight, okay? So we're going to focus on these 4 things, all right? So your mission, like why you exist. Are you just here because you want to be rich and you want to own half of SoCal? Rich as in like the verb, not my name. I don't own half of SoCal. Not yet. The identity, so like, what your brand tells your customers. Your logo, I think the logo is pretty self-explanatory. Everybody knows what a logo is, right? But you not know what a logo is. Cool. And advertising. So like your promotional stuff that's designed to actually like reach or sell your product to your customers. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay. Why is it important? I don't know, why do you guys think branding is important?
Catch your attention.
Because it catches your attention.
Remembers you.
So people remember you.
They think of you first.
Hopefully in a good way they remember you. They think of you first. Okay? What else? Some of it's on there. Exposure, trust, and loyalty. That's a great one. Where'd you come up with that one? All right, how many people are we going to talk about it? Like, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, we're going to hang on to that one. Okay. Competitive advantage. Okay, like, obviously, you're going to trust like a brand that you trust, obviously, is more than one you don't, okay? And that brand just being slapped on something can give a competitive advantage, okay? But it also can be part of your entire identity, that you stand for value or you stand for premium versus low cost or something like that. Like picture, like, what do you think when you think Walmart? Cheap. Cheap. I heard lots of cheap.
Walmart people.
Walmart people.
Busy, too busy.
Busy, too busy. How do the employees?
No habla.
No habla. Okay. I feel like that happens in a lot of places, but I speak no English, so. All right, so versus like Target. What do you think of when you think of Target? White people? All right, guys. Let's tone it down here. Let's keep it PC. This is going on YouTube. I know I'm just a white guy with a beard. I look like every other white guy with a beard, but it's all right. All right, so Target, though, you think of, is it still cheap? It's bougie cheap. I like that. It's bougie. What's that? Walmart and Target? You think it's that high? I think it's more like this. Yeah, like Walmart, Target. Okay, but you see what they're going for, right? So like Walmart, you think of low prices, cheap. You know, Target, you think of, you pay a little bit more not to deal with the people at Walmart, right? And then what? Macy's? Okay. What's like the next jump before you get to Macy's? Somebody told me Kohl's. Did you guys say Kohl's? I'm not a big Kohl's fan. JCPenney? I think that's Walmart. Okay, but the important thing is here. Okay, so your brand and what your can mean a lot to not just to you, but to your customers. Okay, and even not your customers. Like if, let's say, Target didn't like that there was a certain part of the brand that they wanted to like. Sometimes you can't even control like what people perceive you as. Okay, so there's a bunch of other ones on there. What else we got? McDonald's. What did McDonald's used to be? I keep seeing this meme go around, so let's talk about it. What did when you pictured McDonald's or you pictured fast food, what was it? The value menu, the dollar menu.
Consistent and cheap.
Consistent and cheap. It's not so cheap anymore. Now they got the $10 menu. Yeah, now they're having a backlash for, because for a while, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Burger King, McDonald's, and all those fast food restaurants and everything, they started getting a lot nicer all of a sudden. They started redoing all the restaurants. They started all looking like Starbucks, right? So, you got to pay for that stuff eventually.
McDonald's used to be red and yellow and bright colors, happy. And now they're just battleship gray.
Battleship Gray?
Middle-aged.
Yeah. It's like all the houses I flip. Gray's in, man. I don't know. But you're right. So even that's reversed, where people still want something that's cheap, but McDonald's doesn't want to be known as a cheap thing anymore. They want more money. They want to be a little bit more classy. So whether it's working or not, and it's not. Right now, it seems to be backfiring in their face. But what was that? Kid? They got to pay the higher minimum wage too. Yeah. So I don't know what concilium is. Does anybody know what that is?
Something you cut and pasted.
Oh, I know, but I just thought it was odd that logo was on there. So would Concilium have a recognition issue because nobody in the room knows what it is? Yes, Ray.
My opinion on McDonald's, they kind of don't know where they're going. They expand their menu so big, so kind of what are they and what's their value?
Yep. What are they and what's their value? We'll have to look at we're going to talk about mission statements next, so I wish I would have put McDonald's on there. Maybe it would tell us something. Okay? So McDonald's, you think McDonald's as a corporation seems a little lost at the moment on what they want to be. And maybe they are. Maybe they are. Okay, so branding wise, why'd I give you all a shirt? Is it because I wanted to look at all my logo and our logo in the room?
Walking billboard.
Walking billboard? Where?
Anywhere.
Everywhere you go. Where you put a dice in?
Everywhere else.
Yeah, anywhere you go.
Everywhere else. Don't be offended. Okay. It creates camaraderie. Yep. Absolutely. So I don't know if you guys read the story on Facebook, but last year at Pizza Event, Okay, so we had 170 people at the Marriott, and I would say probably about 80 of you, probably a good half of the people that were club members, at some point or another all had their shirts on. And this person who had been around the RIA circuits for decades, he was like, why is everybody wearing a shirt? I was like, I guess they're just proud to be members. And I didn't say wear your shirt, but it was to create that camaraderie and that, that image. And, but it was fascinating to me it blew their mind that people would wear a shirt. I was like, why not? So yes, sir.
So I never wear your shirt here. I'm always wearing my solar shirt, but I do wear your shirt when I go to other seminars.
Perfect.
And so I went to this seminar, never said a word. This lady looked at my shirt and she's like, oh, you're in a real estate club. I've always thought about putting money into something like that and just let the money ride as people buy properties and stuff. And, she was approaching me just from wearing that shirt.
Yeah, excellent. I actually, so I was having this conversation with Evan, and he was concerned that the fire logo says it looks like fire, like firefighters. And I've actually I was in an airport, and somebody walked up, and she was all excited. She's like, "Are you a fireman?" I was like, "I think I'm gonna." No, that's it. But I was like, that was my second thought. And I said, no, it's a real estate thing. Do you have any houses? Do you have anybody with a house they want to sell? And she was like, what? And it threw her off for a second. So it does work. It does work. Not really the way I intended, but it's working. So anyways, good branding. All right. So let's talk about branding in general. So branding is not just a logo, okay? It's the thing, your identity and your mission statement, okay? So these are good examples. And again, this could be a whole meeting just on mission statements, okay? When we came up with the mission statement for the club, it was a multi-day, week process, okay? Months, yeah. So, example of good branding. So Apple has some very, very loyal customers, okay? So Apple's mission is to bring the best user experience to its customers through its innovative hardware, software, and services. Does that sound like Apple?
Yes.
Do you understand what they're trying to do?
Yes.
Is there any ambiguity on what they're trying to achieve? No. Okay. Let's look at the Walt Disney Company. Okay. Apple's logo has become iconic. And quick story, I don't know if you guys know the original logo of Apple was Isaac Newton, like in this drawing, and he was sitting there eating an apple, and it had this banner that went around and it said the apple. It was super, super complex and had no place in corporate America like nowadays. But Steve Jobs said he wanted something cleaner and more identifiable, and then I guess they chose to do the bite out of the apple so it didn't look like a cherry. So, and then the Walt Disney Company. Okay, so to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling. Does that sound like Disney?
No.
Politics aside, does that sound like Disney? Do you understand what Disney's trying to do? Are you not sure what they're doing? Does it sound like they're a little lost? Again, politics aside, guys. What's that?
You can't put politics aside when you're talking branding.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. You can't put politics aside if you're talking branding. Okay, but the Disney company cannot interpret. Okay, I'm not going to go down this road. We're going to be here all day. Okay, for the sake of what we're talking about, even if your politics may not make it like the Disney company very much right now. And let's go back to a time where you liked the Disney company and you agreed with it. Before you understood what politics were, was that?
It had a much better mission back in Hall State,
Was it different?
drastically.
Yes.
What was it?
That was to provide wholesome family entertainment.
That was their mission? Like their mission statement?
Yeah. 'cause-
Interesting.
Well,
Wholesome family entertainment. I think there's some that would argue that they still do that. There was some that argue that they don't.
Because what was that?
Okay, we're going to skip Disney. Apparently that was a bad choice. Let's go to McDonald's. Shit. Let's move on. We'll move on to the fire center. All right. Budweiser. Let's not. All right. So the fire center. So we borrowed. So basically, we took IRIC's mission statement and reborrowed it and rehashed it to be a little bit more clear. Okay. Because the old mission statement for the club was just to spread financial independence through real estate. That's it. Okay. So thought it was a little broad, so we dialed it down a little bit and to deliver top-tier education and events to empower our community of investors towards financial independence through real estate. So it's a lot clearer now who we're providing, who we are trying to get to be financially independent, and why and how we're doing it. Okay, we're not just putting on education and events. I want to put on education and events that are top level, next level, not just, low quality ones. I'm trying not to throw anybody on the bus here, okay? But the next level of education and events. Yes, sir.
So, Rich, mission statements seem to make the people that create them feel good, but how well do you think it does in actually driving business?
So the mission statement, there's a couple different things. The question was, for the camera, mission statements make the people who came up with them feel better, but how does it actually, or feel good, but how does it actually drive customers? I say there's probably two answers to that. Okay, so one, I'm not necessarily sure it really drives the customer so much that it drives you. Okay, so the customer, you're not advertising this anywhere. Okay, like you don't slap this on your advertisements and say, this is my mission, this is why I'm here. Because your customers really, for the most part, they really maybe don't care as much. It's to guide you the creator, or the board, or whoever. Okay, so part of the mission statement for IRIC is still to be inclusive. Okay, so as part of IRIC will never have events that are based on any type of nationality, sex, standing in life, anything like that. It's an inclusive group. Okay? One of the other one, and it also is apolitical. Okay? One of the other ones, you're gonna get me to spill a little secret for next week. One of the other ones does not have that restriction. Okay? So it opens it up to being able to have maybe political conversations. Not so much political conversations, but policy discussions. Okay? So again, the mission statement is more to drive the organization so that if there's ever a question that is like, okay, is this event now, so let's say we did an event, or we were talking about doing an event, and we said, well, that is an event. Is it a top tier event? Is it an event that really stands above what it is that we normally do? Or is that kind of like an event? And we can look at that and say, well, it's not. Or maybe it is. Let's do it. So it's the guide. I think it's more to guide the organization than it is your customer. Okay? But it also dictates and guides what it is you put in front of your customers. Does that make sense? Why aren't you rambling? Yeah, Andy.
Good answer. Helps the whole organization.
Keeps you focused.
Something that popped out to me out of our mission statement is that we're growing a community of investors.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to get a parade of suckers to come through here and buy overpriced education.
Exactly.
And we really have targeted everything we do here towards building an investor class of people.
Exactly. So it was important from the old one that didn't mention investors, it just was kind of assumed. Now we're targeting, and it's not just that we're trying to get investors in here, we're trying to build a community of investors. Okay, and that represents also in the R that we borrowed off the IRIC logo when we redid it, that we are about community, the community's in the logo. Real estate's in the logo. Financial independence is in the logo. Okay, so it's all about that, and being intertwined. Okay? All right, so let's look at some examples of poor branding. Okay? Now, I meant to put some animations on here, sorry. Undisputed market leadership. If that Hershey logo wasn't on there, would you have any idea what that company was selling? No. Or what their goal was? Would you know that it was to be the world's best chocolate maker? Something like that. Okay. No. Okay. And I'm not going to go into Hershey's logo. Hershey's logo is pretty iconic, so I think they're good on that one. They don't even have to, you all know what that is, right?
What is it?
Okay.
An apple?
An apple?
Cherry?
All right. Sony, a company that inspires and fulfills your curiosity. Makes you feel good, right? Like, ooh, are you curious what that means? Maybe. Nothing about a technology or, let's go back to Apple, talking about bringing experience through hardware, software, you get that they're a tech company, right? Okay, Sony's just, it's nice, it's a good feeling, but you could slap that on anything. You could slap that on McDonald's. Altoids. Yeah, isn't that with the Curiously Mint or something like that? Okay. All right. And so some of the old club's logos and branding, which is why we changed a lot of it. The original mission was actually like half a page long and had a lot of tenets, and it all was good stuff, but it wasn't like very concise. Okay, so the main part of it was to build a supportive community of friends who encourage each other in our ventures. Again, it feels nice. I like it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just, what are we talking about here? What kind of ventures? Are we going on adventures? Are we going to amusement parks? The community part's good. The friends part's good, obviously, but there's not really a whole, what's the goal of it? This was something, too, that, because my goal, personally, was always financial independence. The real estate part, yes, I love the real estate part, but the real estate part's the vehicle. The goal is the financial independence, okay? And I didn't feel like Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, or just Real Estate Investment Club in general, it was like that was assumed that was the goal. But there were so many people in the club and now, and in the club then, that I don't think that was their goal. Their goal was to wholesale and flip and have a job, and that was not my goal, okay? So, same with the old logo. I liked it, but what stands out to you?
Inland Empire.
Inland Empire. Who's loves the Inland Empire?
Woo!
I do too. I do. I'm not, but that's not what we're here for. We're not here for the Inland Empire. We're here for the real estate investment part of it. Okay? So if you look at the logo as it got redone up to your left on the top there, okay, so now what stands out?
Real estate.
Bigger than that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And sorry, I should have said this at first, but the other problem with the old logo was that our website, our social media ads, all of that stuff was IEREIC. And so trying to say, that's an acronym, IEREIC. It's that wasn't in anything, so you'd have to always put it next to it. So it was just kind of a mess. So with the new logo, you got IREC right there, so it's a lot easier. Just type that and put org after it. Okay, put that into Google, put it wherever. It comes up. And then now Real Estate Investment Club stands out. And Inland Empire is still there, but it's not the focus of it. Okay, so that was a lot of where yes, sir.
I like the house in the R.
You like the house in the R? Me too. Me too. That's why we left it that's why we brought it over to the fire center. That was my favorite part of it. So I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, okay, great.
A long time ago in the marketing class we had a quiz for logos and we had a matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got 10% because people don't remember logos.
People don't remember logos.
Yeah, what is Shell?
Yeah.
Connected, etc.
Yeah, it's one of those things is that if your brand is iconic, obviously they're going to remember the logo.
You spend millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, sure. Everybody else now. But your mission statement's really good. But I'd say, what's a brand? A brand is a promise. And your question is, how do you keep that promise?
That's a good point.
And then what you're getting into about, a little bit confusing, to really talk about unique selling proposition. So what sets you apart from everybody else? And also gets into positioning too, is how do you want to position yourself? Do you want to be at the top of the market? Or do you want to be at the bottom, the price leader, or what?
Are you asking me or did you?
Well, it's questions that marketing.
Yes, you're absolutely right. There's a lot more that go, and that's part of what I was kind of alluding to is that there is entire. You took a what on marketing? Back up. What was the? It was a class on marketing. Yeah. So there's a ton of stuff that goes into this in theory and a lot of other things that go into. I wish I could cover tonight, but we're kind of doing like a bird's eye crash course of trying to get you guys to look at branding just a little bit more, and you can kind of deep dive later if you want. But you're absolutely right. There's feelings. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into this. Okay. And if you want to be, like you said, the high end, low end, a ton of stuff in between. You're absolutely right. Okay. So let's talk about identity. Who has seen one of these?
Who hasn't seen one of those?
Who has one of these? Come on, don't be shy. You got a We Buy House. We all have We Buy Houses, yellow things, right? If you don't, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. The only thing I will accept is that maybe it's white and you wrote it on Sharpie with red lettering or something like that, but you hand wrote it. Okay. What about that? Who's got fast cash? Anybody have fast cash? Okay, me too. It's okay. Who's used We Buy Ugly Houses?
If you did, you got a cease and desist order.
Maybe. They've trademarked it. I don't know if they've really enforced their trademark too well, but. And then how about this one? Hey, sexy, I buy houses. I actually like that one. I would call that one. All right, so Chris is on there. Chris buys houses. And Larry, we don't have a Larry here, huh? D? You got any Ds? All right, so.
Be a dirt cheap ad.
So obviously there's an identity there that we buy houses. Okay, is it something that stands out? Is it unique at all? I had somebody. I was actually taking. For those of you who don't know who Courtney Fricky is, she does a class on how to use real estate agents to your advantage. Caitlin and I just took her class this weekend, and one of her sections on it was how much she doesn't like We Buy Houses. And not really from a branding point of view, just she thought when she was not yet a real estate investor, she thought all of these people were the same people. She didn't even realize that there was 50 other people that had We Buy Houses things. She just thought it was all the same person that was just buying houses. So, and I don't blame her. Like if you think about it, like they all look exactly the same. I mean, they just have different phone numbers. Cash. So talk about how to stand out. So here's the problem with We Buy Houses. What happens if I want to sell you something and it's not a house? Maybe it's a duplex. Maybe it's a commercial building. Maybe your driving factor isn't cash. Okay, believe it or not, people don't always want the money. Okay, so you're leaving out a very large, maybe not very large, but a large part of what this is all about is that we're here to solve problems. Okay, fast cash isn't always the answer. Okay, and maybe the problem is they don't want to leave fast. Like we bought a house in Muscoy, the guy's still living there. We've owned the house for a year. He didn't want to go anywhere. He was. What's that? Is that my 5-minute warning card? Or is that your We Buy Houses card?
No.
What does it say?
Problems into profits. Problems
into profits. Speaking about branding, Andy got you guys all to buy a shirt with his phone number on it. I love it. And even if I did, I don't remember what honestly, I think I should have taken that slide out. I don't remember where I was going with that one. Sorry, that one didn't get deleted. Same with logos, okay? Who's got a logo that looks like this? Where'd you find it?
I made it on ChatGPT.
You made it on ChatGPT? All right, at least it wasn't Canva. Who made their logo on Canva that's got a square, rectangle? I see so many of these out there, it's crazy. Okay, so I feel like you might as well not even have one if it looks like that. Okay, so that's just examples again of I don't think just putting We Buy Houses out there and slapping a logo on Canva is enough. Okay, is it something? Sure. Is it better than nothing? Sure. Okay, you might get lucky and somebody recognizes your great Canva artistic abilities. I don't know. But or they just happen to. Here's the thing with the We Buy Houses thing, okay, and just regular standard postcards and mailers and stuff like that, okay, is that you're pretty much playing a numbers game, okay? You're hoping that you're going to put that postcard in front of somebody right when they need you, okay? The problem is that there's 50 other people out there that are outspending you 200 to 1, okay? And they're just blanketing everything, hoping for the same thing, that once somebody actually wants to sell, that's going to be the day that your postcard comes in the mail, when they finally have it, okay? What I'm trying to get to is that they remember my postcard. Maybe they put it on the fridge, okay? Or they put it in the drawer, or when they're ready, they go, oh, I should take that guy up on his offer because he wanted to buy me coffee, okay? So, standing out in a saturated market. In your messaging, I think you should lay off the We Buy Houses part, okay? What else could we put on there that is along the line, gets the message across that, okay, like, yeah, dude, we know you buy houses. Like, all you guys with those yellow letters buy houses. Like, why should I call you? Any ideas?
I want to buy your house.
I want to buy your house, okay? I really like your house. That one could backfire. When they call you and you don't know what house is. All right, I want to buy your house, okay? Anything else?
Changing house to home.
Changing house to home, okay?
No, I want to buy a house. I want to sell a home.
You want to buy a house, you want to sell a home. Just like you want to buy a mobile home and you want to sell a manufactured home. It's all in the branding. Okay. Anything else? What else can you say that's something like We Buy Houses, but kind of gets the point across?
Sell me your house.
Sell me your house. You ever seen Sell Thy House? We kind of had that thought too, okay? At one point, we went with Sell Thy House. We had Sir Cash there as a mascot. Didn't really work out the way. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it backfired. And I'm going to kind of go into that in a little bit. But I think you should go instead for like I solve problems, okay? I kind of leave the house out of it. It's kind of a given that you want to buy the house. I mean, you're sending them a postcard with, stuff that's, I hope somewhere in there you say you want to buy the house. But it's not, I don't think it should be your main thing, okay? I buy hoarders, okay? I buy hoarder houses. You could do something like that. I buy bad tenants. I buy foreclosures. I stop foreclosures, okay? I help people downsize. Or I help people with no equity. These are probably things you've heard before, but what happens, and I have an example, I'll get to that in a second. What happens is you end up putting so much on this postcard that it's like a billboard instead of like a call to action. Okay? So I would try and start using stuff like that, okay? And not leaving so much just the We Buy Houses stuff. And then your general marketing too. Like instead of having a sign that says We Buy Houses, just say I stop foreclosures. Or something like that. Like put the extra time in, okay? Because the general kind of stuff is just gonna make you feel like you're out there hanging signs. But in reality, like you gotta get real lucky that they're gonna call your We Buy Houses yellow and black sign, and maybe they like your number a little bit more or something. I don't know. But I mean, we actually we put cash on billboard or on the bandit signs as well. I don't really think it helped. Did somebody, did you have a question? Sorry. Did you?
Yeah, are we talking bandit signs or
Talking general marketing.
or just, and are you customizing in any way? Is it the same postcard?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm saying you need to sorry, that's not clear. I'm saying you need to stop just putting We Buy Houses on everything and start customizing and dialing in a little bit more, okay? So what I've been doing now for years, and it's been working a lot better. I'm not saying this is perfect, guys. There's a lot of room here for improvement, okay? Remember, I'm just an idiot. I'm not a professional. I just slang houses, okay? So in my messaging though, so I start to like hyper targeting, micro targeting, whatever you want to call it. I think it would be a lot more sort of being more local and being more specific. Okay, so when I say be local, I say mention things that locals would know. And I'm mostly talking about if you're going to send them a postcard or you only have so much space on a bandit sign. Okay, but I don't know, put a free cup of coffee on a bandit sign. What's it going to hurt? Are they going to call you? Is it going to cost you anything for them to call you? You know, coffee for a house. I don't know. You know, I'm not saying I've done it. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're going to spend the money, just putting up another yellow "We Buy Houses" sign, I think your odds are low. So I've been real local. Okay, I've mentioned things that only the locals would know, and this again goes back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like owning your market, go back on YouTube. Okay, go on the club's YouTube channel. There's talks from me, from other people about how to dial in on specific markets and own your market. Okay, if you're just casting your net across the entire Inland Empire with a $1,000 budget, your odds are slim. Okay, like they're very slim. Okay, but if you take that $1,000 and pick a zip code that other people aren't willing to go, this is kind of what we were talking about. You know, when you guys did your call with me, it's like where other people don't want to go, or there's these smaller pockets out there. That $1,000, I think, is going to go a lot farther than just randomly sending it out to, you know, one house, 1,000 houses one time. Okay, so be local. If there's a hole-in-the-wall coffee shop, if there's offer to take them out for coffee, if there's like a cafe that's been there for 50 years, you all know one. Who's in Corona? We live in Corona. You know what the Silver Dollar Pancake House is? Okay. Who's I'm gonna test my geography here. Like, who's in Ontario? If I said, like, meet me at Mills, like the coffee shop at the Mills or something, would you know what that was? You would know what Ontario Mills is? Do they not call it that anymore? You don't go there? Okay, so you're out. No, just kidding. Anybody from Orange? Grew up in Anaheim, Orange County area? Anybody? Nobody? Not a single person? They don't call it that anymore, but if I said meet me at the Block, would you know what that is? Okay. Use those. Use what only the locals would know. Okay? That makes you seem local, even if you're not from there or you don't live there anymore. Okay? Like, find it. Go, I don't know, go on Reddit and look in that's probably a bad example. Go on like a Facebook group, like those history Facebook groups for like your town or something like that, and find something. Find something that people that have been there for 50 years that have roots and know the town would know, and connect with them on that. Okay? Grab some pie. Was there like a big flood or storm event recently? Okay, like in Crestline last year, we had a massive storm. Okay, like 8 feet of snow, 100-year kind of storm. Okay, I guarantee, like every person that I have talked to, it's been 16 months now since that storm happened. Every single person that I've talked to, that's the story we're talking about. Okay, like it's one of those things. If there's a big flood or something like that, like people are going to remember it. Okay, so mention it. Was your home damaged? Say we called it Snowmageddon. Okay, so I'm getting ideas right now. I'm going to send out a bunch of postcards and say Snowmageddon damage, ? Yeah, there's still houses all over the place that have collapsed decks and roofs and, you know, whatever. You can use it too. Send a bunch of postcards up to the mountain. Put Snowmageddon damage, ? You get a lead, call me. All right? So, what's that? The local joint? You know, they just changed it. So it used to be the Bear House. Now it's called Top Town Cafe. Crestline Cafe, Tony's,
What's the name of that store?
Goodwin's. Goodwin's just reopened. Yeah, we lost our grocery store. It was down for 14 months. So, again, the more local you can be, the more real you can be, the better. Okay? So, and this is what I'm kind of everything I just talked about, we're going to look at in examples. Okay? So this is what I would say would be good, like kind of the old way of thinking, is putting not just cash fast as is, you know, no commission. Like, you know, we tried to put in a little bit more, okay? Like as fast as you need to, to try and, capture that little people that maybe don't have to go so fast. Okay? As is, some people that, I feel like that was an overused word, so we put, leave all the repairs to us kind of thing in there. No closing costs and no commissions, instead of just, I think it was like no fees is what people put on there. Well, like, what fee? Like, I don't know what a fee is. Like, if you were going to sell, if you were going to go sell your car, any car dealers in here? Okay, other than you, Rafa. If you were going to go sell your car to from a dealership, or, and there was a bunch of fees, would you know what any of those fees were? No. So putting no fees on something just didn't, so we took it to the next step, okay? So, and then you always, if you can, a big call to action right there. Okay, don't just put your phone number on and expect that people are supposed to know what to do with your phone number. Surprisingly, it's not as clear as you think, okay? So a little bit better from that, and this got really washed out. It's kind of a little more readable on the back screen. We dialed in. So instead of just sell thy house, and this just being very generic, this was the postcard that went to everybody when we first started. Okay. Then I dialed it in, and I said we're now Lake Gregory area experts. You can tell this is before I actually moved up the Crestline because nobody up there calls it Lake Gregory. It's just lake. It's just a dirty ass little pond that everything, all the dog poop and rain, and I'm just kidding. So it's not like Lake Arrowhead where people say I'm from Lake Arrowhead. They're like, I'm from Lake Arrowhead. Nobody says I'm from Lake Gregory. Doesn't happen. Okay. So what I should have put was Crestline or mountain area experts or rim, San Moritz area experts, rim area experts, something like that. Okay. But I was trying, okay, so A for effort. I also put up in here, so I started naming the towns there. So if you're reading Top Town, VOE, San Moritz, CPP, Twin Peaks, I got that right. Like you wouldn't know, probably nobody in this room knows what CPP is. Other than Cedar Pines Park. How did you know that? Yeah. Patrick, you've been walking across my lawn or what? All right. Remember that Snowmageddon line. All right. So, I put up there like areas that people would, because there's lots of parts of what I thought was called the Lake Gregory area. Top Town, VOE, that's all Crestline. Okay, but I was trying to sound like a local. I just failed at the Lake Gregory part. Okay. I dialed in buying in the mountains. Okay. Experts at Greater Lake Gregory, transparent, honorable, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Problem with this one is better. I was dialed in more than just a blanket sell thy house. I'm mentioning things that are local. There's probably some things in there that'll go, oh, man, maybe this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. At least he doesn't think I'm from Big Bear. Because I get a lot of postcards and people are like, I'll buy in Big Bear. Great, dude. That's like an hour away from me. So, again, call to action. But why, and I also built a Crestline specific website. So instead of just sending them to sellthyhouse.com, now they're going to Crestline. Okay? So that was better. Okay? And it was, I don't know if we really used it that long. So it's hard to tell if it was actually going to work too well. But I think go ahead.
Am I the only one that doesn't like honorable?
Doesn't like honorable. So we were trying to play into the
logo does great for honorable, but putting honorable on a card sort of screams we're not honorable.
Yeah, kind of like fair, and we'll give you a fair and fast offer or something, I don't know. That's up to the eye of the beholder, I guess. Quick note on the logo there. So we actually stopped, for the most part, we don't use Cash anymore. His name's Sir Cash. We found out two things. One, if you're thinking about doing a mascot or whatever, let me talk about this for a second. I didn't have a slide for it. We thought it would help us stand out a little bit, look a little bit more. We kind of designed him like as a Disney character. The big smiling face, kind of thing. And what we kind of eventually realized was that, one, just like people don't recognize logos as much, any mascot pretty much in people's minds, unless it's like blanketed in front of them or it was in an actual Disney movie, they don't recognize it. They look at them all the same. Okay, so we had people like, oh yeah, you guys are the caveman guys. And we're like, yeah. Tell me about your house. And so I knew that was happening the other way around, where we were helping the caveman guys get calls, because they were remembering a mascot, so they go pull the mascot out. There's also other mascots out there, and the same thing too is that everybody I think had the same idea of having this smiling, friendly-looking thing. But I'll tell you what, guys, and this was way more evident to me when I did this. I posted him in the middle of the storm, or like after the storm. And somebody, I think this has been happening a long time, somebody just finally had the gall to say it to my face, was that when you're down in the dumps and you need to sell your house and your world's falling apart and you are lost and have nothing, you don't know what to do, having that guy's cheesy, smiling, car salesman looking face in front of you probably isn't the best look. Okay? And I mean, I kind of thought of this cheesy salesman, car flashy, like kind of like a picture like a diamond in his eye, or like in his tooth. I kind of already felt that way, and then over the years of testing it and stuff like that, and then when somebody actually told me that, I was just like, yeah, it's probably like the whole town was like under 8 feet of snow, and I'm like, call me, wink, I'm like, yeah, it's probably not the best look. So, anyways. We don't really use him anymore, and we did kind of transition him. What we also noticed too is that investors loved him. Investors were like, "Yeah, you guys have the Knight logo," and they'd always remember it because we'd have him. We didn't really even use him as an investor-facing promo. It was just that we'd have him. He was always on our sleeve, or on our shirt, or something like that, and investors would remember us that way. And so I ended up changing that to sircashdeals.com, and that's what we kind of migrated into. And then we really just stopped using a lot of this branding in general, and that's what I'm going to go to is the best. Okay, so from a design standpoint, from if you were a designer, from like which probably what your brain's telling you, like which is the nicer postcard, that or that, or that. Like which one of those from a design standpoint is probably a little bit nicer? The last one?
The design, I would say the first one.
Yeah, like a more professional looking, corporate looking, did we turn the air off? Or is it just me? I swear it's not up here.
Uncomfortable, so it must be one.
It's only one line. All right, so I'd agree. So from a design, what's a good, better, best postcard design ways, I think looking back, I like this one the most. I would have taken this one from that and kind of put it on there. But what I'm getting at here is that this postcard has no design whatsoever. It's 4 blocks. There's no design element. Any designer in the room would be like a home designer or something would be like, that's not a design. That's just blocks. So, but it's the best because I'm going to read it to you guys. So. One, it's a picture of their house, just picture their house on here, okay? So immediately they're like, holy crap, that's my house. How'd you get a picture? Okay, and it's not the picture, I should have put it in here. This is from Deal Machine, okay? So they get a picture of their house that you took, okay? There's a real picture of me and my dog, okay? And the address right here, thought it was a cat? Is that what you said? Oh, a cow. She was a little bit of a cow. She was pretty chunky. So it has their address, it has a picture of their thing, and then it's me. Okay, there's no logo, there's no anything.
I've heard from ladies that the picture of your house on a postcard creeps them out.
Picture on the house with a postcard creeps them out. It might, but you know what it also gets them to do? It gets them to call you with their phone number and say, hey, it creeped me out. And now guess what you have?
Their phone number.
A phone number to a homeowner who's officially or eventually going to have to sell someday. I'm not saying creep her out further with it. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? Like, don't be a sleazeball. I'm just saying, like, it has it's like the fire thing. Like it might not be the reaction you're looking for, but it is a reaction, and now you have data. Okay?
Why?
And it worked. It worked. Okay? So, and so the biggest part of this is that I live in Crestline. I'm interested in purchasing a few more properties soon. If you're looking to sell, I'd love the opportunity to see if we can help each other out. We'll take it in any condition and close as quickly as you need to. Okay? That's the best one. Okay? And there's a few more in here. Okay, so even bester. Okay. Oh, I missed one. Oh, I missed one. Sorry. There was another one in here. Sorry. So after this one, this is the initial one that goes out. The next one that goes out says something about, or there's a different version. The idea too is that you split test these things. You send a couple different things and see how they react. Okay. But there's also a postcard that says something local about a restaurant. It says, "Hey, I live in your area. I'm your neighbor. I want to buy your house. Let's go to the Bear House and I'll buy you coffee." Okay? The Bear House is a restaurant up there, or it was. It's changed names, but everybody still knows what the Bear House is. Okay? And then the next postcard, I say, "I guess you don't like the Bear House. Or maybe you don't like coffee. All right, how about we grab a drink at Tony's?" Another restaurant that everybody up there would know. Okay? Even if you don't want to sell, I like making friends.
That's what you said.
I said it right there. New friends are always great. Lanice, you were in Firefast. What is it? It's just coffee.
No, it is just coffee, but
That's what she said.
We're not getting married. It's just coffee. Okay? And this helps by being part of a small town. Okay? Because chances are we probably ran into each other already. Okay? Probably stood in line in front of me at Goodwin's. And I was annoyed at how much they had, and they didn't let me go because I only had 2 items. I don't know. But it's a small town, okay? So, like, if you guys are thinking, like, wow, that would creep me out, or, whatever, you got to get past that crap, okay? Like, if people are creeped out by it, they're not the ones you're looking for, okay? The people that need help aren't going to care that it's a little creepy that there's a picture of their house on it. They need help, okay? So, let that stuff go, okay? You're not trying to sell something. You're trying to buy something. Okay? So, again, I think it's better to be real. I think the less corporate you can look, the better. Okay? So when it comes to these messaging and stuff, I'm not saying don't have a brand or don't have a logo. Okay? I'm just saying you don't have to use it on every single thing you send out to people. Okay? The name of the game, I think, with investors and trying to find motivated sellers and stuff, is the more friendly, the more local you can look, the more real you look, the more you're going to have a better chance to get through the people. Okay? They don't want to sell to corporate America that's already, probably the reason in their mind why they're in this place to begin with. Okay? Yes, sir.
That is part of your brand being local.
Part of your brand being local?
Yeah, that's what you're saying to me is basically you want to be local and that's part of your brand.
Yeah.
What do you tell the people?
Yeah.
Everything you have, everything you say out is part of your brand.
Yeah. I'm local. But, again, you don't want to, look like a corporate stooge, is what I'm getting at. Okay? So downplay your logo. If you want to put your logo on it, fine. But don't build your whole thing around it. Okay? Play up yourself. I would put a picture of yourself up. Okay? Or there's a lot of people that do kind of a caricature of themselves. If you want to do that, fine. I think a real picture, probably being somewhere in, maybe even in town or where you're trying to do it, or your market, is even better. But I think just having your face on there, is a big plus. Okay, even though it might depend on your face, but I'm just playing. No, I think having your face on there is important because that's gonna and guys, why do agents have their face on everything? They're the only salespeople in the whole world that I know that put their face on their business cards.
No, they don't.
Who else puts their face on a business card?
They put some younger person's face.
Oh yeah, they put a picture 30 years before. Yeah, that's true. Still them though, at least.
Is this your daughter?
But really, I mean, it's because it's such a personal thing. And I'm not. But again, I don't want you to make a business card, turn your postcard into a business card, and look like a realtor. Just, you know, like I said, do something, you're just out with your dog or your cow or, you know, whatever. All right. Do you have a question? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, if you think of like Adriana's insurance on the billboards, like that's so like recognizable, and she's killing it.
Yeah.
How many people buy insurance from Adriana?
The building off of 15.
I don't know.
Be honest. Be honest. If you're new at this, putting the area expert or something like that on there, I don't know if I'd stay away from expert, stay away from things like that. If you don't really live there, say I visit my grandma all the time or something, you know, or that you're in that town for some reason. If you're doing business there, you are going to be there. So I wouldn't try and make up some story that you grew up there, and you know, don't lie. I'm not telling you to lie here, okay? And a better logo, I think if we're going to talk about logos in general. So this is one of my new logos. Don't steal it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm still a work in progress, okay? And I want you guys to think more, this is my goal with it was I wanted to look local, okay? So I took inspiration from other companies that are long-standing companies in Crestline, and I kind of wanted to like call out to them a little bit. So I borrowed some colors from them. I borrowed like the lake, so that's supposed to be the lake. The mountain thing up there, instead of a stock house with those windows, okay? There is a house on there, but it's a very subtle, friendly-looking house instead of a corporate-looking house, okay? And the trees and stuff like that. And I'm still working on it. This isn't finalized yet. But I own the domain and all the ats already, so you can't steal it. I'm not worried about it. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. So, I mean, I wouldn't just go, if your market's, you know, banning, I wouldn't just take this and put banning on it. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense, you know. But I'm not from banning, so I don't know what the cues would be in that market. But again, you don't have to have a logo. This is just if you are going to go the logo route, maybe make it a little bit more friendly, okay? And if you don't get it right the first time, it's okay. Like you're going to go through lots and lots of variations, okay? Believe it or not, that is not even all of them, that's probably 1/10 of the different logos and everything that I mocked up before I settled on what you see in this room. Okay, so there's some up there that you're probably going, oh, I like that, or wow, that looks terrible. You know, you can see the little house that I played around with at one time. So it's not going to just, you know, you're going to sit down and just put a logo together or put it all together all in one shot. Okay, it's going to take a little while. But I think the better you get at this, the more you learn about the market, the more you see what works, what doesn't work. Eventually, I think it'll just come to you, and eventually it'll click. Okay? Yes, sir.
When I was running a business, I just paid like $100 and got like 5 mock-ups of logos overseas.
You paid $100 and got a bunch of mock-ups overseas? You can. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do in ChatGPT now. There's lots of different ways to do it. You don't have to sit there and do it from scratch unless you want a very specific thing. But there's, and ChatGPT and stuff really has a problem with text still. So good luck getting it to spell Crestline homebuyers properly. Like, it's probably not going to happen. And you can't, once it makes something, you can't tell it to edit that same thing. It just keeps restarting from scratch every single time. But you can pay people overseas. I've had hit or miss with that, honestly. I've had people that nailed it pretty fast and got exactly what I was talking about. And then I paid people that I was just like, that he just gave me like 15 versions of this that he obviously went to Canva for and did. And they were all sucked. So, I don't know. I guess they're, you go one way or the other. Any questions? Any comments?
How often do you send out mailers or postcards over what period of time and how many?
So, my Deal Machine account's paused right now, but I was sending out, at one time, we had like 5,000 properties in there. It's probably like down to like 2,000 or 3,000. But we would start. So this is deal machine specific. I would start off sending people like once a week for a month, so they get a postcard 4 times from the time that I added them. They get one once a week, and then they get one twice a month. They get that for like 2 months, and then I'd go to every other week. They'd get that for like 3 months. Then I'd go to once a month. They get that or once every 6 weeks. They would get that for 3 months. Then it would go to like once every other month. You see and it would basically end at once every 6 months until it's sold. So, and some of these postcards, I mean, I bought a house in Crestline that the guy called me 2 weeks after I put it in the system. He called on the first postcard. And I've had people that have all the way up until the 23rd or 26th, something like that, postcard. Yeah, that I mailed for the house we just bought up in Twin Peaks for $90,000. We mailed them 27 times, 23 times, 4.5 years, something like that. They finally called us.
What's your average mailer time?
The average mailer time, I think it's 11 postcards. So by that time, it'd probably be anywhere between probably like 3 months, like a year, somewhere around there. Because remember, like it ramps up quick and then it falls off quick. Because I'm not going to send postcards out every week for 3,000 houses every week for 50 cents a pop. That gets expensive. So.
Do you have a message sequence?
What's that?
Do you have a message sequence?
A message sequence?
Message sequence. Basically, we send this message, we choose this message.
Oh yeah, that's what that is that you saw. So there's like 7 different postcards, and throughout that, it hits them fast. And then it goes to the next sequence, and then it builds. It builds. Like the last one, I actually say, the last one's like, dude, this is actually costing me a lot of money to send you this postcard. Can you call me? Yeah. The next one's like, all right, well, guys, sorry we couldn't connect, but here's my postcard, save it. And then 6 months later, look at another one that says, just checking in, seeing if you're ready to sell. And we'll send them that for, I figure 50 cents for, the next 10 years? For every 6 months for the next 10 years? I don't know what the math is on that, $5. Was it 20? $10? There you go. Or $10 over 10 years? I figure, yeah, why not? So, all right, any other questions?
What type of properties do you screen out in that 3,000?
So if they're in Deal Machine, they're all properties that either I, myself, Evan, or other people that drove for us over the years added in specifically. And they had to have at least 2 major things wrong with them. So a really bad roof, broken windows, cars in the driveway, the standard stuff. We didn't put anything in that was just nice, just to add. It kind of depends on the neighborhood sometimes, but yeah, it's all stuff that we know. That's why I think I've always, I've talked about Deal Machine in the past. Because that's what I think the power of Deal Machine is that exactly what's going in there. There's no shooting in the dark. There's not just picking 5,000 names out of those what we were talking about. It's like there's none of those shooting, 1,000 houses out into the wilderness that you have no idea if they look brand new or they have problems or, I know that there are nice houses out there that the owners may have problems on, but for my intents and purposes, I would rather just focus on the people that clearly the house has issues and clearly somebody needs help, no matter what that help is. So, and I do that again just by trying to stay local, trying to be a little bit more direct in my marketing. So,
Does Deal Machine update if they sell it, if somebody else buys it?
yeah. Yeah, the question was, does Deal Machine update if they sell the property? And yeah, it does. It won't automatically turn it off. You have to go in and turn it off. I don't know why, probably because you're paying per postcard. They assume that you want to keep mailing it for some reason, even though it just sold. There is probably a way, if it's sold for cash, that you could set it up to immediately send a different set of postcards that switches to like your, an investor-focused one. I did use it for that too. You could use it for target investors, and build your buyers list with it. You can do that. So, but yeah, it does update. It does update at Skip Traces. And if you guys are interested in Deal Machine, I didn't put it in the slide, but on the website, if you go to the sponsors section, or you just type in dealmachine.iereic.org, it'll take you to, it'll get you like 15 bucks for free or something to send your first set of mailers. They'll also send a cut of what you pay to the club every month. So it does help. It does help a lot. We get like $400 or $500 a month from Deal Machine. So pays the electric bill are part of it. So it helps. If you guys are thinking about doing it, just text me for the link or just go on the website. Okay. I can't add it later if you sign up and you tell me, oh, I signed up, but I didn't put the code in. Thanks, but that didn't help. So, all right. Any other questions? All right. Well, again, Tribe Building is next week. For those of you who have not been to Tribe Building that are newer to the club, it's when we clear out all this. We set up a bunch of high tops. We will have a bartender here. And we just basically have kind of like a mini party for a few hours and talk and network and get to know people. We are going to do a small round of a few rounds. We're only going to do like 3 rounds of speed networking later in the night. So you guys will be open free networking for most of the night. And then we'll just try and mix it up towards the end of the night. And then again, at the beginning of that, in the middle of that, I'll be talking about what's coming next here at the Fire Center. Yes, Andy.
Do we need extra volunteers for the reset next Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, we'll handle that after exchangers. But if you're here after exchangers, we'll need some help.
So I still have seats this weekend. Come talk to me.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you want to follow me on Instagram or whatever, that's my @ or call me anytime. Every single one of you members has my phone number in your email address or in your email from when you signed up to be a member. So if you ever want to do deals, or I like to bowl, golf, motorcycles, that kind of stuff. So if you ever want to hang out and talk about real estate, give me a call. Okay? Thanks.